Hi, welcome back to the channel, and tonight I've come out to test the battery life with the Zoom H5 Studio and a pair of Clippies for real. So in the last video we did it on the windowsill, so tonight I've come out and I've put it out just in case the conditions have any effect on the recording. So I've taped the Clippies up onto some branches there and there. I've got the recorder here. As you can see, I've taken off the XYs and I've taped up the connector. We're recording at 32-bit, 48k, gain of 7. It's on hold. I've pressed record, so now I'm going to pack it in its overnight dry bag, and I'll come back tomorrow and we'll see what we got. And here we are back in the morning. It's about 12.5 hours since I set it up. They're all still here in one piece. Recorder, well camouflaged, and the Clippies. Right, let's see if it's still recording. So give us a second. The recorder is dead. Let me double check the time. It's on 13 hours. So why did it die? Why did it die? And how long did it record for? So I'll be able to take this home now, have a look at the file that's on it, see how long it is, and then maybe think about what's happened depending on how long the recording is, obviously. So I'll dismantle this now and I'll see you back in the house. Okay, so we got back home. I've uploaded the files, but on the way home I was thinking, is the SD card full? And the other thing I was thinking was, is there any battery life left in the recorder? And obviously, how long did it record for? So I turned on the recorder and there was one bar, just enough to turn it on, and it had recorded overnight. So I'll share my screen and we'll have a look at what information we can get from the files. So let's head over there. First thing I brought up is the capacity of the SD card. As we can see here, there's 116 from 128 card available. Total recording time that we use so far, plus whatever the card needs to function, is 32 gig. That leaves us with 84, which means it's not a problem with the card. Now let's look at the files. The windowsill test is here at the top, this top bit, from there to there. And we know that we started at about 8:45 in the morning and it ended at around 9:20 in the evening. And we got 13 hours and 20 minutes. If you want to have a look at that, have a look at the last video. So the recording we did last night, we started at 21:14, it's 9:15, which was what I kind of guessed when I set it up, and it recorded overnight with the last file starting at 8:06 this morning. Will it give us any more info? Doesn't seem like it. Let me right click on that. Properties, that's come up on the other screen. So I'll get that and drag it in. Here we go. And that tells us that we recorded 1.2 gig, which is quite a lot, because these other files, if I click on that and there, bring up the properties, let's drag it in. They are 2 gig. And I have had a look and the other ones are all the same, which means that our last file and 1.2 would be just over an hour, maybe an hour 10. If we look at when the file started, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 1.5s, gives us around 10.5 hours, plus the 1.2 gig, which is another hour of the time. It's between 11.5, 12 hours recording overnight in environmental conditions, which is probably the factor in the time difference with these two different sets of recordings, but we can still get a good overnight recording. And as far as I'm concerned, the Zoom H5 Studio with the XY capsule removed makes for a really good drop rig recorder with just the batteries, the lithium ion batteries. It's going to give me 11 to 12 hours of recording, which makes it perfect for an overnight recording, getting the dusk to the dawn, a little bit on either side, simply because of the battery life. Because if we used a Zoom F3 with Clippies, we know the batteries don't last that long, well, 6 hours. But if we were to do a dusk till dawn recording, we'd have to use a power bank. And from my experience, you can get some recordings, while other ones, for some reason, the power banks turn themselves off. So with the 4 batteries in the Zoom H5 Studio, it's much more reliable. And from now on, that's going to be my go-to dusk till dawn recording apparatus. Less equipment to deal with, just the recorder. You know it's going to last for that particular time period, and you don't have to faff around with power banks, trying to get them all into a dry bag and then trying to hide them. The Zoom H5 Studio recorder is just simple. It's just one little unit inside the dry bag. It's quite small, easy to hide, and as we've seen in the field, it can last 11.5 to 12 hours, which is perfect. So while the XYs in the Zoom H5 Studio are pretty useless out in the field because of the wind protection issue, the recording unit itself is really good for drop rigs up to about 12 hours. There's a bit of give and take there, remember, environmental conditions. For now, we'll leave it at that. The Zoom H5 recorder is really good as a drop rig recorder for 11 to 12 hours with just the batteries. Now, if there's anything on that recording, because I'm going to have a listen to it in a bit, I'll leave it at the end of this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.